What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Lexi J Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Lexi Johnson. This is my husband and co-host, Brett Johnson. Brett Johnson, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, honey?
Good. I feel like I held up the show a little bit tonight.
You did?
I did. It's for good reason.
I can confirm.
This week is the LJW Games. And if you don't know what that is, it's an in-person event where it's another workout event, but it's so much more fun. I think all of them are fun, but this one is like you get to act like a kid, because after the workout we play games, we have challenges, and we're adding something even more fun this year. And I hope that this tradition continues for other in-person workouts. So like Taylor Swift concerts, people swap friendship bracelets, which we made friendship bracelets at our last Lexi J Wellness Dream Team weekend, and it was so fun. I'm horrible at it though. I have chunky, flimsy, or like clumsy fingers. I am not made with that dexterity or that patience.
It's not even about the creativity, it's your dexterity.
I don't think so.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't think I'm meant to.
I thought that's where you're going with it.
My fine motor skills aren't there. I digress. Anyway, I received like 4 minutes of video on Instagram from 2 of our Lexi J Wellness members, and it was like a haul of them going through these bracelets, and they had meaning behind every color that was used, every saying, and it was so funny. Like, they're cracking me up as they're saying it, because a lot of the colors, like, it was like one of the colors, it said something about LJW Games, and the color around it was like red because she fell and scraped her knee, and like orange because she put on self-tanner and then it rained, so then the self-tanner was gone. And it was just a lot of really funny things, and I can't wait. So after we record this, I need to get to work. I need to buckle down on my bracelet making game.
I'll watch.
And I need your help. You are like the most meticulous person I've ever met. I have a feeling that you would actually find it very satisfying to make bracelets. I bet you would enjoy it.
We might never know.
No, I think we'll find out. Anyway, something that a lot of people had asked us to talk about was, we're going to kind of combine the two, vision boards and visualizing.
Okay.
So,
good ones.
We can talk about vision boards and visualizing. I am still very much in the beginner stages of visualizing, but you are much better at it than I am. So I for sure want to hear your perspective on it.
Okay. Do you want to touch on visualization or vision boards first?
We can do vision boards first because we both have those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so vision boards, I guess the purpose behind vision boards, or at least the reason I think they are, it's kind of, so a lot of us have like in our imagination, like goals actualized, or envisioned, but putting them, on a physical board that you see regularly, it just like makes that part of your daily, something that you see. So it kind of just, it puts it into your daily routine before it actually actualizes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like that was very eloquently put, but intentionally putting it into your daily routine where it's something that you pass by, you see often, you can like reflect on. It also just serves as a really good reminder of like, much of what you're doing is probably monotonous. You're going through the same thing every day. You're working. I mean, most people's work days are not like crazy scheduled from one day to the next. It's a lot of repetition, a lot of self-development. Most self-development is repetitive. So, it can be really hard to remember why you're doing that and getting stuck and, losing motivation. But if you have something where you can see what you're working toward, whether it's like a dream body or a dream vacation, a dream home, whether it's like tangible or intangible, just like putting that there kind of right sides you and gives you a better perspective of why you're putting in the nitty-gritty work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that you touched on there that's really important is seeing it every day. And I think you're better at like making a vision board and like staying kind of up to speed on that, because this past year I still like made like my annual goals, but I didn't do a good job of like updating a vision board. Like I have some pictures in my phone and stuff that I look at, But I'm better, I suppose, personally, in comparison to like making an updated vision board that's like, like cutouts from a magazine, or printed out pictures that you put on the cork board. I'm better at like putting a screensaver on like my computer or my phone and seeing something regularly. And it, after you see it day after day after day, and it just starts to become something that's ingrained in your mind, and it no longer seems like this inconceivable thing that you can only dream of. You start to paint the picture of what it would actually be like to have that thing, or to be in that circumstance, and it's no longer just this distant thing. It feels like you can touch it, you can feel it, you can imagine it, and really it's kind of a prerequisite to visualization, in my opinion. For me, it is anyway, because it starts to just paint. You start painting the picture in your mind. It starts to feel like something that can be real, and then you take things like that. Whatever that is for you. For me, I have a specific car that I'm going to have, and I have that car as the background of my computer. I have that car. I cycle it sometimes on my phone because people think it's weird. So whenever they see that my wife is not the background of my phone, which, in all honesty, I like having my wife as my background of my phone, but
I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Everybody knows that my wife is my life, so that should go without saying. But nonetheless, a lot of times you'll see that I have a car as a background of my phone, because that is something that I am going to have, and it's something that I'm visualizing. It's part of my daily process, and being able to recognize that these are things that I strive to have and I will have, because I'm putting in the daily actions to get to that point. So again, this to me is the prerequisite. Putting these things in place, however that works for you. If you want to have a cork board next to your desk, or at home, somewhere that you see it all the time with things on it. It could be one thing, it could be 10 things. Sometimes it's easier if you narrow things down.
I do think it's better not to have a million things.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
on mine I have like 5.
Yeah, I agree.
Or something like that.
Yeah, because realistically, it's likely not going to happen that you achieve 20 different things that you put on your visualization board in a short time span.
And it's hard to just focus on multiple, like so many different things like that.
Right, because when you start visualizing, it's a very intentional effort, and for you to be able to visualize like the way that I think you should visualize for it to really work, it's I would say it's nearly impossible for the average human mind to be able to visualize in one sitting 20 different things. It's a lot easier to concentrate your effort on 1 or 2 things than it is 15.
Yeah, I think like the way that, so for practicality, the way that I do my physical vision board, and I like having it like as a physical object just because it's kind of fun to find the pictures. I order them from Walgreens. It costs 28 cents per thing, and you could probably get a discount, so they're even cheaper. I pick them up, I cut them out, and I just put them on this cork board, and I think it's kind of fun, and it makes it more of like, romanticizing this thing that I get to see. And so I have them, pinned on this cork board. I think that it's kind of cool to, and like, I think a good strategy if you want multiple things is to kind of like put them in boxes. So for instance, if you have personal goals, financial goals, professional goals, that way it's not like a million different things, and you don't want like, you're not putting 40 cars and a helicopter and whatever. Like I would not spread yourself so thin that you can't focus on all of those things. It's like multitasking. It kind of defeats the purpose if you start to spread yourself so thin. However, I do want to make sure that this is clear, because a lot of people can look at vision boards and think it's so materialistic. And if you want to put something material on vision boards, like, big freaking deal. Like, that's awesome. If you want to work hard and, earn the money to spend something, or spend that money on something materialistic, big deal. Like, you earned that. So I want to say that first and foremost, but I know a lot of people that have, family goals on their vision board. I know a lot of people that want to have families, and they have pictures of, it sounds silly, but it's like literally cut from a magazine, like a family of 5, a Christmas card, or like you know, couples that really want to get pregnant and that's something that they're striving toward. Maybe it's harder for them. Like they have pictures of sonograms or things like that. Like those are all things that you can visualize and you can focus on, because I do think, like, I believe it's very powerful. What you focus on, your brain is going to, like, your brain, your intention, all of your energy and efforts go towards that, and I think that it becomes actualized. So I think that a lot of times we downgrade or undervalue the value of our thoughts and our intentions. So, you know, it sounds hokey pokey to say if you really want to get pregnant, you know, that's something that you can put on your vision board. That's something that you can visualize. But I do think that there's a lot of power in that.
Mm-hmm. And I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse here. We kind of jumped into this with, I think that we may take it for granted that a lot of people don't know what the law of attraction is. Law of attraction is essentially the foundation to all of this. And the law of attraction is basically stating that what you put out into the world is going to come back to you in one way, shape, or form. And that's a very broad way of describing what it is. I mean, there's one book in particular that we have on it. It's called The Secret. Now, it is
it's pretty hokey pokey.
It's pretty hokey pokey. Now, there are a lot of things that resonate with me. Now, there are certain things that I'm like, but all that being said, I am a believer in the law of attraction, and I think it's hard for me to put into words all the different ways that I agree with it, and I believe that it's a very real thing. But I've seen it happen in my own life. I've seen other people experience it in their lives. But law of attraction isn't something where you just think about something and it magically happens. And I think that that's where we get past the hokey pokiness. Law of attraction becomes reality whenever you put forth action that gets you toward these things that you are visualizing, and that you're painting these pictures in your mind of what your life is going to be. And again, that can be anything. For one person, it may be a material object. And these things change throughout your life because everybody's goals change all the time.
Yeah, your priorities kind of shift and
right.
morph.
And you achieve one goal, then you go to the next thing, and the next thing. And it's just a metamorphosis of all these different goals in your life. But law of attraction isn't just simply thinking something into existence. It's thinking something into existence compounded with you putting in the effort that it takes to achieve that thing. But if you can't imagine it being real, then it will likely never happen. Law of attraction plays a powerful role in achieving your goals, because you tell yourself, you paint this picture in your mind of something being achievable that you probably beforehand would have assumed that was never even conceivable.
Yeah, I think that you're right. I'm glad you touched on it, just because that is something that I kind of brush over, that I assume that most people have heard of or know of.
Right.
And I don't think
in the
that's true.
personal development space, it's fairly common lingo, but that is something, before I really entered this space, that was a foreign topic to me. So I think that's something that we definitely shouldn't just brush over.
Yeah, and it's more so like thoughts breed like thoughts, and when you're constantly thinking of things that are, generated by what you want in life, what you're working towards, it is assumed that the actions will follow that. So if you're thinking these things consistently, but your actions are completely backwards or inverse to what you're thinking, obviously what's going to happen is not going to be what you imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So the actions have to align with the thoughts.
Right. I mean, there's.
It is not rubbing a bottle or a genie.
Right. I mean, there's
rubbing
songs.
a lamp and a genie
There's like
out.
songs and stuff about this. Trying to think of.
I don't think I know those songs.
I'm blanking on it, but I mean, it can be mainstream if you really know what you're hearing. It's one of those things that you could just kind of, it wouldn't stick unless you really know what they were talking about. And there's a song that's literally called Manifest. I'm trying to think.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and that's what they're talking about. Manifesting is kind of like a contemporary word that people throw around, and they say that they're going to manifest something. That's really what they're talking about. But manifesting something is, I don't know. I just think it puts a weird spin on what law of attraction truly is. It's not just thinking something into existence. It's thinking about something and coupled with the actions that it takes to achieve it. So anyway, and let's get to visualization. So we get to the next part of this conversation.
Okay. You are much better at visualization, and let me explain why. One, first and foremost, and the most simple, the nuts and bolts of why you're better at this is because you've done it a lot more consistently. You practiced at it, so obviously you're better. So you guys have heard us talk ad nauseum about our morning routine. We come down here, drink coffee, we read our books. It does not matter that I just drink 20 ounces of coffee and I have that caffeine coursing through my veins. I just got done reading my book. I'm still in my pajamas. I'm so relaxed. I have not picked up a cellular device yet or anything like that. I am unbothered. So after I read, and then when I put myself into a position to visualize and I close my eyes, and you want to get comfortable, more often than not, I'm dozing back to sleep. I have 20 ounces of coffee coursing through me. It does not matter. I will fall right back to sleep. So I personally, it's not going to work for me to visualize in the first thing in the morning because I am susceptible to falling back asleep. So I need to plan better and put that into my day at some other time when I will not fall asleep. But anyway, Brett's really good at it, and I'll let you take the reins.
Well, see, the thing is, that's a very subjective thing because you can't see when I'm visualizing it, and I could be full of shit, but
that's true. But you don't fall asleep. You don't have to be woken up like I do. Brett wakes me up after he gets done visualizing for 8 minutes, and I have fallen asleep while I was supposed to have visualized, and he looks over and I'm just.
I have gotten a lot better at it.
It seems like from the outside perspective, I'm just looking over at you. I'm like, dang.
Yeah, I can get there. About 60 seconds in, usually I'm all in, and a lot of times I'll have to I have my watch set for 7 minutes, and a lot of times I just stop the buzzer and just keep going, and I may go for another 5 minutes. It just kind of depends on what state I'm in and how focused I am. I try to be as focused as I can be, but it's life. Certain days it's just not there because I'm distracted by other stuff. But whatever. Go ahead.
Tell me when you visualize. So are you looking through your own eyes?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I'm not good at seeing myself in the third person.
And I'm not good at seeing through myself because when I visualize, I'm like an observer. I'm watching it happen.
Interesting.
And I'm I don't think that this. Then I feel so silly because then I.
So you do see yourself in the third person.
Yeah, I'm like a peeping Tom on my life. And then I catch myself mid visualization. I'm like, I should be in my body. Who am I? That I'm just watching this happen. I'm just looking into my own office.
That would be difficult for me, I think.
And then I try my hardest to. Okay, I have to be looking. I'm doing the tasks that I'm watching myself do, and I have to try to put myself in that body. It's hard.
Yeah, I feel like I would be trying to puppeteer myself.
Yeah, that's why
so
I'm trying to force
adding an extra layer of separation to the event that I'm trying to make unfold.
I don't know why that's that's what I see.
Maybe you should just try looking through your own eyeballs.
I know. It sounds so silly because I'm I don't think I should be watching myself. I feel like I'm just.
I think you're getting too into the weeds on this. I guess you just let it happen the way that your mind wants to let it happen.
I'm just watching a television show of myself. It's basically I'm just standing in the corner of the room.
I'm not saying that's wrong, but that ain't how I do it.
I know. It's just so interesting.
So yeah, I am very much so in my own two shoes. I am seeing things through my eyeballs in my little world that I'm in when I'm visualizing. Do you, out of curiosity, do you dream looking through your own eyeballs, or do you dream observing yourself in the third person?
I think I dream through my own eyeballs.
So why are you trying to visualize?
I'm not trying to, like, that's just what my brain conjures up when I start to visualize. I don't know. And I'm aware that, like, not other people don't do that.
Yeah, I think
If you guys
should
visualize
try.
and you see yourself as a third person, please let me know.
Okay. Well, we may have identified a pain point for you.
I know it's weird.
But yeah, I mean, visualization can be whatever you want it to be. It all depends on what your goals are. You know, what it is that you're putting on your vision board, or whatever it is that you're kind of making your mission to accomplish. And for me, it helps a lot if I can take a nugget of something, and whether I read it in a book, or if I have one experience in real life with something, like it helps to feed your visualization with something in real life. So for instance, whenever we started building our new home, I was able to take a real life experiences. I was able to visualize roughly based on the three-dimensional world that I had created in my mind, of this house plan, and where our house was sitting, the land surrounding it, and the view that we were going to have. And I was able to create this picture in my mind. But then whenever I was able to go on site and actually see it with my own two eyes in real life, I can touch things, I can feel things, I can see things. Then I'm able to take that picture, because your mind has this incredible ability to remember things. There's all this untapped information in your mind that you have, and in your dreams, you have all this potential of things to reach back and grab out of the memory bank and resurface. And you're always thinking, like, how do I don't even remember this person. Well, any person that's ever been in your dream is a real person that you see in your life. And it's hard to fathom, but to me, like, visualization is just like a diet version of that, where I'm able to recapture these things that I've seen, which I probably couldn't even describe in as detail as a fashion as I can see in my own mind. I couldn't tell you, out loud exactly everything that I'm seeing, but I can recapture what I've seen, and then I can add to it what I want there to be. So I could see what our house was going to be, even though it was in a very premature state. And I could visualize myself walking through the house, walking around the house, walking outside. And I can't even tell you how many times that I would finish visualizing, and I would come up with 5 things that I had forgotten that I wanted to do with the house, or that I had overlooked with the house. And then I wrote it down, or sent a text, and I made amendments. Like, I have made 6,000 amendments to this house, and Lexi can attest to that, because she's made none. And I'm the only person that has contributed to this side of it.
I think that's funny. So the funny part about building a house and dealing with a gazillion, like, contractors and different vendors and things like that, because you have to deal with someone that's specifically for flooring and cabinets and lights and countertops and tile, and, like, there's a different person for everything. And they always go into these meetings and they, like, look to me to be the decision maker, or the one that's, like, very opinionated and adamant about certain things with this house. And I check out very soon in these meetings, because Brett's calling the shots, like, and it's not something where I am, like, yielding to him because he, like, I don't know, that's not something I bring to the table. It's not something I'm overly interested in, truly. I trust you. You're gonna build me a phenomenal house with the inside's gonna be so beautiful, and yeah,
I know that you will be ecstatic when it's done, but you're, like, this is not, I mean, you and I talk about this plainly, so maybe people are gonna think this is harsh, but you are not a detail person whenever it comes to this sort of stuff. Like you get like bored talking
Oh, yeah.
and discussing this stuff, and I eat the details up. Like that's what I live for. So that's kind of where we are each other's, you know.
Yin and yang.
Thank you. Yes. Perfect example. So that's, I don't know, in a nutshell, I mean, we just kind of balance each other out that way. Like we don't butt heads on anything. Like,
No, I think that's honestly like people when they say or when they find out we're building a house, they're always like, "Oh, that's so stressful." Most people want to get a divorce after they build a house. One, it's because like I think that there's so much pulling, like you're playing tug of war half the time, and I'm just like let go of the rope, and I'm playing a different game over here because I don't
you're playing a
care.
hopscotch.
There's
I'm
a
playing
li-
tug of war.
Yeah, I'm in a group chat with Brett and like our go-to person that handles most of the design and stuff. It's the three of us, and I only contribute a GIF every now and then to that conversation. Like I am,
You're making observations of the conversation.
yeah, I'm like throwing jabs and ha-haing things every now and then. I'll give a thumbs up, but I'm like, everybody in this chat knows that I'm
And
not.
that's fine. Like, that wasn't really upsetting for me. I want your input on several things, but we kind of got off on a different topic. But what I was,
Well,
what
we
I
get
was,
asked about the house a lot, so it's probably good to touch on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny because most people assume that the wife is going to be the one that's calling the shots and the decision maker. And without fail, every single contractor is like, makes a joke about, yeah, just whatever she wants, just sign off on it. And I'm like, buddy, you have no idea.
Yeah, if anything, am the high maintenance one on this project. I critique everything.
Yeah, but like, I trust you. I trust your vision.
Yeah.
I know you have a very specific one.
So, circling back, it's kind of a good little segue back into it. I have had these very detailed visions of what I want, and inevitably, as I continue, as this project evolves, and what I have imagined, comes to life. It's a very, it's a good metaphor for what visualization is. I mean, like a construction project, because you literally are visualizing this fictitious thing, and it comes to life in a very real way. And there are several things that I've changed along the way because of the visualization process that I've gone through. And the house and the property and all that, that's not the only thing I visualize. I've categorized my visualization of the day, if you will. It's either personal, like a personal goal, be it, like a car, like I was referencing before, like me experiencing, driving the car, pulling it into my driveway, driving it into the garage, shutting it off, turning it on, opening the door, things like that, or walking through my new property. I also have the business sector, where I'm sitting down and I'm observing my portfolio of assets, or if I am sitting at a desk in an office with lots of people around me that are working with me. It can be whatever you want it to be based on what your goals are. But I have different categories, and really it's just those two at this stage of my life.
So that is when I can, if I can visualize a little bit better business things.
Mm-hmm.
So like, because I have concrete people that I can plug and play. So I have employees that I can, visualize doing these things with me and being there for these moments and stuff. So that helps me a lot. I have had one visualization, like I visualized this moment over and over and over and over again, and then it became true, or it happened, which was cool. And it was at the 3-year anniversary event at HQ, and I visualized like coming out into the auditorium, and they would all be sitting in seats. They would fill the seats. I knew what those shirts were going to look like that most of them would be wearing, and that they would all clap when I got done talking. And I visualized like introducing Andy Frisella and surprising them with him, and all of them going crazy. And like to live that was really, really cool, because I was like, it was almost like deja vu. Like I've lived this before, but that was neat.
Yeah, and it's then when you get to reflect on it afterward, then I think you have the realization that, holy cow, I've been dreaming this moment up, and it happened, and you almost didn't even don't realize it in the moment.
I would put an amendment to what you said. Not I have been dreaming this up, like I have been preparing for this.
Yeah, I almost hesitated to use that,
because it is like that is like a dream, surreal moment, but also like it didn't happen by chance.
Right, and dreaming is probably not a great choice.
Well, and I just say that because I know I don't want anyone to take this away and be like, if I like cross my fingers and squint my eyes hard enough, I'm gonna
there's a difference
drive a Bugatti tomorrow.
Yeah, there's a difference between manifesting something and using the law of attraction in a very tactical way, and that to me is how it works. That's how I make it work for me. And you can make your goals as big or small as you want. Now, I'm not going to be somebody who says like, dream that your backyard's going to be the moon and it's going to happen. Like, you get where I'm going with this. The law of attraction is supposed to be used in a way that is truly beneficial to your life, stuff that empowers you to be the best version of yourself and get out there and go get stuff done. It's not meant to be something that people use to like poke fun and joke around and say, well, I'm gonna manifest that I'm the president of the United States of America.
Your voice.
It's just, it can easily be made the butt of the joke in a hurry because people want to be the devil's advocate. But my point is that it can be a very powerful tool if used properly, and I don't care. I don't give a shit if everybody makes fun of me for doing it, because I'm going to continue achieving my goals while your ass is on the couch. So if you want to make fun of me for doing it, be my guest.
I think that's a good spot to end. My ass is on the couch right now, so. But you know what we have to do right now? Go make some bracelets. All right, so that is our take on visualization and vision boards. I will be more consistent about visualizing. I am going to find a time, maybe after I record would be a good time, because then I've got lots of energy pumping through me. I'm not going to fall asleep.
Yeah.
I have to be still, and I have to like keep my focus on that one task, and that's why ideally it is better for me in the morning, because then I haven't like opened my phone. I don't have a to-do list, going through my brain that my mind is going a million different directions.
To me, it makes the most sense to do it first thing in the morning, if you can, before you get scatterbrained, before you have any distractions at all, before the world is awake and it's just you in the present moment. Is the less distractions you have, the better, and the quieter it is, the better. It's like the library setting in my mind. You know, the most quiet environment, the most peaceful environment you can think of is where I can get into the deepest level of visualization.
All right, we're all gonna wake up tomorrow and we're gonna visualize. Okay, guys, we will talk to you next week. If you have any podcast suggestions or things you want us to hit on, the past few weeks we've been touching on ones that people have reached out to us about, just kind of doing audience picks, and we really enjoy that, because we, at the end of the day, want to give you guys stuff that you want to hear and want to listen to. So if you have any suggestions, you can email those to us at
pod@lexigiovannis.com.
But until then, we'll talk to you